I don't think that young people are going to be interested in environmental issues just because they'll be having fun.
They have other things to think about, like college, school, university.
I see a lot of people, especially my age, littering and throwing stuff around. It's just a bit, you should probably put it in a bin.
People will be playing games or going out with friends. They won't be really interested in it.
People just aren't really aware at that age, and there's not really a lot you can do about it.
If it's like a bit of cardboard, I will generally put it in the rubbish bin.
A recent report from the WWF states that human consumption is the main cause of wildlife loss in the past 50 years, which is currently at a rate only seen during mass extinctions. This generation only have 12 years to prevent irreversible damage. So what are they doing about it? We decided to speak to Dana Roberts, a local Wildlife Trust volunteer, to find out how she tries to live sustainably, helping to reduce biodiversity loss with her everyday choices and the challenges she faces when doing so.
So in my home, I'm trying to be more sustainable. It's a slow process. I'm currently just trying to improve my garden. We've got a pond and trying to have more pollinating flowers. Inside, I'm trying to be more conscious about the products that I use. So bathroom products and stuff that I'm eating. So an example, biodegradable products like toothbrush, and I've got a biodegradable nail brush. So I'm trying, but there's obviously a lot more things that I can be doing. I wouldn't say it's been easy to change. We live in a world where it's easy to just have things, and realising how many of our products are not sustainable is quite a difficult thing. So it's been quite a slow process for me. So I'd say problems young people face engaging in nature is a lot of misinformation. I think it's really hard when we're just so saturated with how things are, all the throwaway fashion and everything now, and it's quite difficult then to know they're telling us all the problems that we're creating, but it's hard to find a solution that fits your lifestyle. I think young people are starting to get engaged now because it's something that we see in the news quite a lot. You can try and do one good thing for the environment and then realise that actually part of that is actually doing something else detrimental. So it's really difficult to know what is the right thing to do.
Following our conversation with Dana, we decided to speak to Megan Gault, Secretary of the Healthy Planet Society at the University of East Anglia, to understand how a small community can positively impact the environment.
Basically, we're a society aimed at raising awareness of our impact on the environment, teaching people how to live more sustainably, and we do that through events such as litter picks and beach cleans. Social media, I think, has played a really big part in my awareness of our impact on the environment and how sustainable living can make such a big impact. As education systems know how important it is to live sustainably, and education systems are the people that need to set the example.
What Megan said resonated with us, so we asked Luke Mitchell and Jerry White from City College Norwich if they feel they are setting a good enough example to students.
I think a lot of what the college do to be eco-friendly isn't publicised as well as it could be. So for example, all waste that gets thrown in bins gets separated and recycled off-site.
The downside of that, I think, is that sometimes it doesn't always make it obvious to everyone, staff and students, that we are recycling 100% of our waste. So I think that's an interesting challenge with any sort of initiative like that.
I think if they were to have, say, paper recycling bins in classes and around campus, that it would get students to do that themselves, which would probably also continue into their own personal lives. But I think that what the college is doing at the minute is pretty good, but again, there's always room for improvement.
For any educational institution, I think we have to make decisions about what do we prioritise communicating to our students about. And perhaps environmental issues are rising up the agenda, and we need to think harder about that as we go into the future.
After seeing how individuals, communities and education systems can deal with environmental issues, we spoke to Nanette Youssef, a local Green Party member, to see how it is possible to influence wider change.
So I think it's really important that we address climate change in a policy perspective. There's only so much that everyday individuals such as you and me can do unless we really address the root causes of climate change, which in my opinion are excessive greed that's come about. We're not going to get anywhere, and it's the responsibility of parties such as the Conservative Party, who are currently in power, to confront big businesses about their climate change record, which is atrocious. This is such an urgent, immediate problem, and we're not doing anything enough to counter it.
During our project, we became aware of the Greener UK movement, who are a coalition of environmental organisations aiming to ensure that once the UK leave the EU, our environmental regulations are to the same standard or better than current EU law. The movement is currently campaigning to make this happen and have a website where MPs can pledge to support their suggested manifesto. Over 180 MPs have already pledged their support. However, we went to speak to an MP who has not signed up to the website, Richard Bacon, and ask him why.
Until I met you this morning, I didn't know about that website, but that's probably my fault, and I will be going and looking at it. But I think some people have been concerned because the fact that we're leaving the European Union could mean, I don't think it will by the way, could mean that we have lower environmental standards. But once we recover the ability to make our own laws, we can have stronger standards if we wish to. I also think it's very important that schools themselves lead the way in terms of setting an example.
After speaking to Richard, we travelled back to City College Norwich, where Dan Reynolds was invited to give a talk highlighting the impact that plastic waste has on the environment. Dan set up Pure Clean Earth, a non-profit organisation that aims to raise awareness of current world waste issues. He does this through beach cleanups, campaigns, workshops and events. And following the event at the college, we spoke to Dan about how he's looking to inspire the world to live a greater life without plastic, one of the biggest factors contributing to global wildlife loss.
I think we have to really understand that in order for us to really make a change long term, we can't be leaving it up to one or two people. We have to understand that it is all about each and every person as an individual getting involved, but as a community, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 people together, standing up with a positive message saying this is the solution, then people are going to listen. You can put recycling bins around and you can say that things get recycled, but until people get involved in that process and start seeing and understanding what recycling is, what happens once I put that thing in the bin, where does it get recycled? You say it's getting recycled, but I want to see it. Otherwise people won't get to be involved in that whole process. They won't understand what recycling is. They'll put things in the bin and then they think their job is done, but it's not. So we need to make it more convenient. People need to get involved with this. We need to make it out and transparent of what's happening so people can do it themselves and that we can start making a change as a tribe, as a community together.